Hello, welcome back to art class. Today we're going to be working on some basic things that I think every kindergartner should know how to do and do pretty well. Some of this will be a review for some students, and some of this may be totally new. You're going to need a white piece of paper. You're going to want a pencil with an eraser, or you're going to want an eraser like this. And today's kind of just a practice day. So even if you know how to do this, I would like you to practice this for me, and then we'll deal with what to do after that. So on the first part, let's talk about people. That's one thing I think all kindergartners should be able to learn to draw pretty well. So in order to do that, let's talk about how a lot of kindergartners start off. Okay? So I'm going to draw it here, and I'm going to be using this piece of paper, and I'll probably end up using both sides of my paper. Remember, this is just practice today, so please don't get frustrated if you have some trouble. Just keep trying and see how well you do. Okay. So when we get a lot of new kindergartners, when you first start school, you kind of draw people like this. Let me draw it a little bit darker here. You draw your head. Almost everybody gets that. You need a head. Okay. Then we put a face on it. Right? So get some eyes. We'll put a nose, and we put a mouth. Okay. But what I see a lot of, and this is normal, when we start kindergarten, or maybe just leaving preschool, we'll do this. We'll put legs, and we'll put arms, like that. And this is pretty normal for the beginning of kindergarten and for preschool. And you got your basics. You think in your head and things like that. And we got to walk around and we got to move around with our arms. But if you look at this carefully, you'll notice it's missing something important. This kind of looks like a cartoon character, but it doesn't have a body. Okay, so I'm going to show you two ways to make a body that is something that you might like to do for the future. Okay, so if this is how your person looks, I want you to try this new way. If you've already done this new way, I just need you to practice it so that I know that you're really good at it. Okay, first way is what we call a stick person. This is a quick and easy way that almost everybody, once they leave kindergarten, will be pretty good at. And it starts out the same way. You still need a head. I'm going to do it down here. You're going to need a head because you got to be able to think, right? We'll worry about the face in a minute. Then we need a body. So for a stick person, we make this really skinny stick body. Okay. Then we add some legs down here because your legs are at the bottom of your body, and you need two of them, right? And then you're going to need two arms. Now, where some people make mistakes is they'll put the arms coming out right here. But if you notice on a person, they actually have a neck. So you got to make the arms come out from the body. And the arms can go in different places because you can move your arms around. Okay. The other thing I like to do is I like to add in shoes or feet, which are just little ovals. And I usually like to do what I call mitten hands. They're an oval with a thumb. Oval with a thumb. Okay. Then I can go in and add the nose and the mouth. If you want it to be a boy, you can just do some hair on the top. If you want it to be a girl, you can add hair on the sides. Again, I'll show you that one more time. You're going to need a circle for a head. You need a stick for the body. You need some legs. They come out at the bottom. Be careful. My eraser's not working. About this. This is what I see some people, kindergartners who get in a rush. They'll do is they'll make their body, but they stick their legs way too high, and then it looks like the person has a tail. And I don't know any people with tails other than in movies, and those are fictional characters. So I'm going to put the legs. And then I'm going to put arms. Okay, you need two of each. The ovals for the feet. And then ovals with thumbs for the hands. And And then I like to add in eyes, nose, and mouth. And this one's gonna be a boy. Got a girl down here, so I'll have a boy right there. Okay. Now these are just easy stick people. Okay? Most people get really good at doing these. Okay? What I would like to do is take it one step further though, because I think kindergartners can really handle this next step. Is we're gonna take this basic idea of stick people and we're gonna go one step further. But it starts out exactly the same. You need a head. Okay, so here's my head. Now, we're going to use shapes. Instead of lines, we're going to use shapes. So we're going to use a rectangle for the main part of the body. Okay. Now, there's two ways to do this. You could have the head right on top of the body, or you could do it this way. I'm going to do it. I'm going to move up, make another one here, where you put a little rectangle underneath and then you put the big one. This little tiny rectangle that's right here is the neck. And everybody, if you feel, you know you have a neck. Okay, next, we need arms and legs. So the legs come down from the bottom, so I'm gonna do a leg that's kind of like a skinny rectangle. And I'm gonna do another leg that looks like a skinny rectangle. And then I put my ovals for my shoes or my feet. Then I can put my rectangle for the arm. And again, you do your oval with the thumb. A rectangle. And an oval with a thumb. And it's still, you need eyes. Mouth. This one will be a boy. And then this one with the neck works the same way. To barely have any room for the shoes, I'm gonna let them go off the page. Oval with the thumb. Oval with the thumb. This one's gonna be a girl. She's gonna be really happy. Okay, and she does have hair a little bit on the top of her head. And then she's got the hair coming down the side. Another thing you can add for the girls is you can add eyelashes, which are just little marks right above the eye. Yes, technically there are eyelashes on the bottom, but we don't need them because it's a little too much. So what I'm going to have you do for the people is I want you to practice going, don't practice this guy. This is where some of you are. I need you to do these two. I need you to practice making stick people and making shape people. Okay? Both of them we need to be getting pretty good at as kindergartners. Okay, that's the first thing I need you to practice. That probably won't take you too long because I think most of you will be doing really good with this. The next thing, I'm going to flip it over, is I want to talk about making a house and making trees and flowers. Because again, those are basic things that I think every kindergartner should really know how to make pretty well. Okay, let's talk about house first. When most people think of the house, they think of a simple shape on the bottom and a simple shape on top, and that works. Okay. The shape on the bottom is usually a rectangle or square. I'm going to go with a little bit more rectangle. It's a little bit wider than it is all. And remember that they have corners. Okay, don't make them rounded. They got to have corners, so straight up and down, straight to the side. And this is where people have a little trouble, is getting those nice corners. Okay. So this is the main part of the house. And then we need a roof. Again, this is just a basic, simple house. On the top, it's kind of like a triangle. Okay. Again, sharp corners. Okay. Now, we need some other things. This is your basic shape, but we need some other things. We need to be able to get in the house. So we're going to need a door. The door has a little circle for a door handle, so we need a door. Okay. We also probably want to be able to see outside the house, so we should probably put in windows. And windows are, again, they're usually rectangles or squares. Now, are they always that way? The answer is no. There are lots of varieties, but when we do a quick house, this is how it usually looks. And same with the door. The door is usually a rectangle. Okay, so I have my windows, and then some people like to put the cross pieces in. Kind of traditional house. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is I want you to practice making your house. Now, if you want to add a little bit, like maybe somebody wants to add a chimney to your house. This is like a rectangle on the top, and then you might have smoke coming out. I want you to practice that. Again, it's pretty easy. I'll make a smaller one here. We start off with the square or rectangle, making sure to have corners. We make a triangle on the top, making again corners. The door. The door is a rectangle, and then I'm going to put some windows on. I'm going to put a long window over here this time. Change it up a little bit. Okay, then you could have like that. So I do want you to practice this as well. What you can do is do it like I am, where you're practicing maybe your person on one side and your house on the other. Okay. And we're going to use the rest of the space to practice our flower and tree. Because again, those are really common things I think kindergartners should know how to do well. All right, so let's talk about flower. Flower is very similar to doing a stick person, believe it or not. You start off with the center of the flower. It's usually a circle. Now, is every flower out there like this? No, but this is a good start. Then we need a stem, the thing that holds it up, that green thing that holds it up and goes into the ground. Okay, that's the stem. Next, I like to put in maybe a leaf. Okay. The last part with the flower are the petals. And this is a bumpy line, like this. Now, petals come in different shapes, so I'm just showing you one way to do this flower. You gotta take your time. Notice that each petal comes down back to the circle. Like that. Okay. You want a nice big one. I've seen a lot of people they do this. They'll make the really tiny flowers like this. And that's a problem. It makes it hard to see. Okay, so making a bigger one is a little bit better and a little bit easier to draw, I think. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. Again, most of us know how the basics of this. It starts out kind of like a head, nice circle. The stem, which holds the flower up. Put some leaves on it, and then some petals. They're kind of like making a bumpy line. Or M's. If you've practiced making your M's or your W's when it turns upside down. Okay. Now I gotta get rid of the stem that's showing, so it looks like this. Okay. There's my basic flower. Something that we should all practice and get pretty good at. Are there other ways to make flowers? There are, but this is one that I think most of us need to have the basics of. The last thing that's to make is a tree. And a tree, again, is not very difficult. We're going to break it down. It's really easy. A tree is a very large plant, right? And it has a trunk, which is kind of like a stem, only much, much thicker. So I'll make my first tree here. So I want you to start off with a rectangle like that, okay? Then we're going to put a rectangle like a branch going this way, and then a branch going this way. And if you notice, it looks kind of like a Y. Then I'm going to put a smaller rectangle going this way, and then I'm going to put a smaller rectangle going this way. So they're all the same shape, just getting a little bit smaller each time. Okay. Then, starting a little bit down here, I don't want to start at the bottom, but I want to start closer to the top. I'm going to make a big bumpy line, which is kind of like the petals that we just did. The only difference is I'm not going to touch my branches that I drew. Like that. Okay. This part usually takes a little bit of practice to get down because you just got to get that motion practiced. Okay. So again, I'm going to do it again. We're going to practice this. And again, I know that some people are really good at this and they might be even fancier than I am. And you can do the fancier versions. I just want to make sure everybody can do these basic versions because kindergartners are so smart and they're learning so much. Okay, so there's my rectangle. Then I'm going to make a small skinny one going this way. And I'm going to make a small skinny one this way. It looks kind of like a Y. I'm going to put another one coming off. There we go. So they look like little branches. And I could even, if I wanted, I could even add another one on the other side if I wanted, just to be fancy. And then I'm going to make this bumpy line. It's kind of like M's and W's. M's and W's. Okay. So this is our project for this week. It's just to practice this. Next week we'll make our own picture and color it using these items, but I need us to practice this. So what I'd like you to do, and moms and dads, if you can help, is take a picture. So practice your stick people and your shape people. I really want us to focus on trying to get to the shape people, but if we're having trouble with the shape, stick people should be good for everybody. So we want to make sure we can do these, and we want to try to do these guys and girls. Then on the other side, I want you to practice making a house, and you can add other things to your house as well. I want you to practice making big flowers, and I want you to practice making trees. Now remember, trees should be bigger than flowers most of the time, okay? So make sure they're nice and big. Then I need you to snap those two pictures. So it's going to be two pictures, one of this and one of this. Okay. And then upload it to Seesaw for me, and we will see each other next week.